You think that dark blue sweater you wear every Tuesday is just a color choice. You think your cat doesn't care about your wardrobe. You think she sees you the same way whether you wear charcoal gray or olive green. You are wrong, and your cat has been telling you this every single day through a signal you have never learned to read. Here is what nobody noticed. The moment you walk through the door wearing that particular shade of navy blue, your cat's pupils dilate just slightly. Her whiskers shift forward 0.5 millimeter. Her tail tip twitches once, then freezes. You call it a greeting, your cat calls it a threat assessment. And the assessment is not good. Let me show you what is actually happening in that 10-second window between your key in the lock and your hand reaching down to stroke her head. Because what you are wearing triggers something ancient in her visual cortex, something you never accounted for, something that determines whether she leans into your touch or pretends to be asleep until you leave the room. Stop thinking like a human for 30 seconds. Think like a cat. Your cat's vision is optimized for detecting movement at dawn and dusk. She sees the world in blues and yellows primarily. Reds and greens are muted into grays. But blue, true blue, saturated blue, is the color of an open sky in her ancestral territory. And that means something very specific to her survival brain. When you wear a dark blue shirt that approximates the color of a predator's silhouette against twilight, your cat's amygdala fires before her conscious brain can override it. Dr. Tony Buffington's feline pain scale studies at Ohio State documented something surprising about feline visual processing. Cats do not just see color. They associate color with context, and dark blue in an enclosed space triggers the same neural pathway as spotting a hawk shadow on grassland. Your cat does not think you are a hawk. She knows you are her human. But her visual system evolved over 40 million years. The part of her brain that processes color and threat is not controlled by her rational mind. It is controlled by a survival script written before any cat ever lived inside a human home. Here is the part that changes everything. Your cat does not avoid you because she does not love you. She avoids you because her body is running a protocol you triggered unconsciously. And she cannot tell you. All she can do is flatten her ears, turn her back, and wait for the color to change. That avoidance is a dataset. Every flinch, every retreat, every moment your cat chooses distance over closeness. That is data you can decode. If you want to learn how to read the rest of the signals your cat is sending you every single day, subscribe to this channel. We are going layer by layer into the hidden communication system your cat has been using since before you even brought her home. And right now, in the comments, I want you to type the color you were wearing the last time your cat pulled away from your touch. Not the color you think she likes. The color you had on when she turned her back. See if the pattern matches what we just uncovered. But here is where it gets complicated, because the avoidance itself is not random. It follows a pattern that researchers have only recently begun to decode. And the pattern reveals something unsettling about the bond you thought you understood. John Bradshaw's work on feline behavioral ecology at the University of Bristol documented that cats in multi-cat households use color contrast as a spatial negotiation tool. When one cat wears no color, when it is just fur, other cats read its body language clearly. But when a human enters the room wearing a color that washes out their natural facial signals, the cat loses critical information. Your face becomes harder to read against a dark blue background. Your micro-expressions, the tiny muscle movements that tell your cat whether you are happy, tired, or stressed, become invisible. And an invisible face is a dangerous face in feline terms. If you have ever stood at your front door in a deep blue coat, reached down to pet your cat, and felt her pull away just slightly, you know that moment of confusion. You thought she was being moody. You thought she needed space. You told yourself she was just not in the mood for affection. But what actually happened was simpler and more unsettling. She could not read your face, and she made a survival decision based on missing data. Now here is what you did not see. The moment you stepped inside, your cat's olfactory system took over. She smelled you. She recognized your unique scent signature. Her brain knew you were safe at the chemical level. But the visual mismatch, the dark blue silhouette with the unreadable face, created a conflict between two sensory systems. Her nose said trust. Her eyes said caution. And in the feline brain, when eyes and nose disagree, the eyes win. Why? Because vision is the faster system. A cat's visual threat detection operates in milliseconds. Her olfactory recognition takes several seconds longer. By the time her nose confirms you are safe, her body has already committed to the avoidance response. She cannot override it. She cannot tell herself to relax. The muscular tension, the flattened ears, the tucked tail, those are already happening. Think about that for a second. Your cat's body made a decision about you before her brain finished processing who you actually are. And you have been misreading that decision as mood, as personality, as distance. But the real mechanism is even stranger. Dr. Sarah Ellis's research on feline communication at the University of Lincoln found that cats use specific body postures to test human responses. When your cat sees you in an unfamiliar color, she performs what researchers call a safety probe. She will approach slowly, pause at a distance, and watch for your reaction. If you reach toward her immediately, she reads that as confirmation of threat. If you wait, blink slowly, and let her approach on her terms, she recalibrates. The color becomes less important than your behavior in response to her hesitation. Here is the problem. Most owners never see the safety probe. They see the hesitation and interpret it as rejection. So they reach faster, they lean forward, they make direct eye contact. Each of these actions reinforces the cat's original visual alarm. The cycle deepens, and both of you walk away from the interaction feeling confused. That confusion is the hinge. Every misread interaction either tightens or loosens the bond, and the difference between them is invisible to you until you learn to see it. Subscribe so you don't miss the next layer. We are going to decode the specific postures your cat uses right before she decides to approach or retreat. From the comments, tell me, have you ever caught your cat doing that slow, hesitant approach and mistaken it for affection when it was actually a safety probe? Share one moment you now see differently. You have watched your cat avoid you when you wear that one sweater. Not because she is fickle, not because she prefers your partner, because your wardrobe choice accidentally activated a survival protocol and your response to her avoidance accidentally confirmed it. Now look closer at that moment. The sofa where she retreats, the way she tucks her paws under her chest, the slow blink she gives you from across the room, not a greeting, but a question. She is asking whether you are going to respect her assessment or override it with your hand. And the answer she gets determines whether next time she lets you come closer before she moves away. Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery published a study on purring that changed how researchers understand feline self-soothing. Cats purr at frequencies between 25 and 150 Hz. That range promotes bone density and tissue healing. It also reduces stress hormones. When your cat purrs after pulling away from you in that dark blue shirt, she is not happy. She is soothing herself. She is using her own vocal mechanism to lower her cortisol because your presence, combined with the color conflict, elevated it. You did not hurt her, but you stressed her, and she quieted that stress alone. This is the moment that changes how you see every interaction. Your cat's avoidance is not rejection, it is regulation. She is managing her own nervous system in response to a stimulus you provided without knowing, and she does this hundreds of times per week, with colors, with sounds, with sudden movements, with changes in your routine. Every time you misread the signal, you miss the chance to adjust. Let me ask you something. How many times have you pulled on a fresh shirt, walked into the living room, and watched your cat leave the spot she was comfortably sleeping in? How many times did you assume she was just restless? How many times did you take it personally instead of paying attention to the color you were wearing? The answer is probably hundreds, and each time your cat was telling you something specific about her visual comfort. She was not being dramatic, she was being precise. Now here is where it gets devastating. The avoidance protocol does not stay confined to the moment of entry. It generalizes. If your cat associates dark blue with threat activation often enough, she begins to predict the threat before you even arrive. She hears your car. She hears your keys. She retreats to her hiding spot before you open the door. Not because she does not want to see you, because she has learned that your arrival correlates with a sensory conflict that leaves her unsettled for the next hour. You have been wondering why your older cat spends more time under the bed. You thought it was age. You thought it was pain. It might be both. But it might also be that your wardrobe choices have gradually trained her to associate your presence with a stress response she would rather avoid than endure. Here is the part nobody sees. Cats who experience frequent visual conflict with their owners do not just avoid. They suppress their normal relational behaviors. They stop greeting at the door. They stop rubbing against legs. They stop sleeping on chests. Not because they have changed, because they have adapted to a stimulus they cannot escape, and the adaptation looks like distance. Let me show you the evidence. Veterinary hospital admission retrospective data from the Morris Animal Foundation tracked behavioral changes in cats whose owners reported sudden avoidance. In 31% of cases where no medical cause was found, the behavioral shift correlated with the owner introducing a new clothing color into their regular rotation. The cat was not sick. The cat was responding to a visual trigger the owner had never considered. Your dark blue sweater, your navy jacket, your midnight blue work shirt. These are not neutral to your cat. They are visual events that require processing, assessment, and response. And every time you wear them without understanding what they trigger, you and your cat drift a little further apart. But here is the thing about this trigger. It is reversible. Unlike pain, unlike illness, unlike the slow creep of aging, this is a variable you can control. And that is the most hopeful part of the entire picture. You are not stuck. Your cat is not broken. The bond is not damaged beyond repair. You just need to see the color the way she sees it. Stop thinking like a human for 30 seconds. Think like a cat again. In your cat's visual world, the safest color you can wear is a soft gray or muted beige. These colors approximate the neutral tones of her own fur. They blend into the background of your home. They do not create contrast against your face. They allow you to read her micro-expressions without interference. And when she can read your face, she can trust your intentions. The most threatening colors for cats are high contrast against human skin tones. Dark blue, deep green, bright red. These create a visual barrier that obscures facial communication. The cat sees a dark shape with a lighter oval on top. The shape moves toward her. She cannot see the softening around your eyes. She cannot see the slight lift at the corners of your mouth. She cannot see the intention behind the movement. All she sees is the movement. Now here is the revelation that changes everything. Your cat is not avoiding you. She is avoiding a silhouette that looks to her like an approaching predator, and the tragedy is that you are inside that silhouette, trying to express love through a visual filter she cannot penetrate. Remember that flinch I mentioned at the beginning? The whisker shift, the pupil dilation, the tail twitch? Those are not greetings. Those are the first 3 steps of a threat assessment sequence. The 4th step is the decision, approach or retreat. And that decision depends entirely on what your face tells her in the next 2 seconds. If you stand still, if you let her see your full face in good light, if you blink slowly and look away, her threat assessment resolves to safe. She approaches. She remembers that human faces are recognizable behind the color. She recalibrates her internal map. But if you move toward her while wearing that high contrast color, before she has finished her assessment, she encodes a different memory. Human approaches in this color retreat. And that memory compounds with every repetition. You have been teaching your cat to distance herself from you without knowing you were the teacher. The Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery study on purring also documented that cats purr more intensely after stressful interactions when they are alone than when their owner is present. The cat who hides under the bed and purrs is not comforting herself. She is running a self-soothing protocol that her ancestors developed in the wild when they hid from predators. The purring stabilizes her breathing. It lowers her heart rate. It tells her body that the threat has passed. But the threat is still in the house. The threat is you, wearing the color that triggered the entire sequence. You did not choose this. Evolution gave your cat this visual sensitivity long before there were sweaters. But you can choose now. You can choose to see what your cat sees. You can choose to wear the colors that let her read your face, and you can begin undoing the pattern of distance you built without knowing. This is the deep truth beneath the surface question. The avoidance is not random. The avoidance is communication. Your cat has been telling you, every time she leaves the room when you enter wearing that shirt, that the color between you is blocking the connection she wants to feel. She wants to come closer. She wants to rub against your leg. She wants to climb onto your chest and feel your heartbeat under her cheek. But her visual cortex will not let her until you change the signal. And here is the hardest part to accept. The change is simple. You knew it was simple the moment I described it. Gray, beige, soft earth tones, white, pastels. These colors allow your face to communicate. And when your face communicates, your cat trusts you. The avoidance disappears, not in weeks, not in months, but in the single moment she sees your full expression clearly. But the deeper implication is bigger than color. Because if your wardrobe can trigger avoidance without your knowledge, what else are you doing that your cat has been trying to tell you about? What other signals are you sending that she receives as threats? What other small, invisible habits are pushing her away while you believe you are doing everything right? This is the moment that changes how you see every interaction with your cat, not as a series of random behaviors you try to interpret, but as a continuous conversation you have been participating in without knowing the language. And the first word of that language is written in color. Let me show you the pattern you have been living inside without recognizing it. Think back to the last time your cat chose the floor over your lap. Think about what you were wearing. Think about the lighting in the room. Think about the angle of your body as you sat down. The answer was there all along, written in the visual language your cat speaks fluently, and you have never learned. Now picture the same moment in soft gray. Picture yourself sitting down slowly, letting your face catch the light. Picture your cat's eyes as they track your movement, not with suspicion but with recognition. She sees the edges of your mouth. She sees the softening around your eyes. She sees the intention behind the stillness. And she makes a different decision. She approaches. She climbs. She settles. Because the color barrier is gone. You have been living with a cat who has been trying to bridge a visual gap you did not know existed, and she has been blamed for the distance she never created. Here is the quiet truth. The cat who avoids you is not cold. The cat who flinches is not ungrateful. The cat who turns her back is not rejecting you. She is protecting herself from a signal she cannot resolve. And the minute you change the signal, she changes her response. Not because she has forgiven you. Because the threat she was responding to never came from you. It came from the color you chose this morning without thinking. Your cat has been waiting for you to understand this. She has been showing you every single day through every retreat, every flinch, every careful approach that ends with her walking away. She has been saying the same thing in 1,000 small ways. Look at me. See me. Let me see you. And you have been looking right through her. That is the hardest truth in this investigation. You have been looking at her every day and missing the message she has been sending. If you are ready to stop looking through her and start truly seeing her, subscribe. We are not done. There are more layers to this hidden language, sounds, movements, routines you think are neutral, but she reads as signals. And before you go, drop a single word in the comments. The first color you are going to change in your wardrobe tomorrow. Let me know what you are choosing, and I will tell you what your cat's response will be. This is not about guilt. This is about seeing. Because once you see the color the way your cat sees it, once you recognize the visual field she navigates every moment of every day, you stop wondering why she avoids you. You stop taking it personally, and you start paying attention to the one variable you have always controlled, the signal you send before you even speak. The science is clear. The evidence is documented. Dr. Buffington's studies, Bradshaw's behavioral ecology research, the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery papers, the Morris Animal Foundation data, they all point to the same conclusion. Your cat's avoidance is not random. It is not emotional. It is computational. She is processing visual input faster than you can imagine, and she is making survival decisions based on data you never knew you were transmitting. And here is the part that stays with you long after this video ends. Every time you choose a shirt in the morning, you are casting a vote in your cat's visual assessment of safety. Every time you walk through the door, you are sending a signal she will read before you speak. Every time you reach toward her, you are either confirming her trust or reinforcing her caution. The choice is invisible to you. It is everything to her. Your cat does not need you to be perfect. She needs you to be readable. She needs the color between you to disappear so she can see the face of the human who feeds her, who warms her, who loves her through the one sense she trusts most, sight. And when you give her that, she gives you something in return that no dark blue sweater can ever replace. She gives you her full presence. She climbs onto your chest without hesitation. She presses her forehead against yours. She purrs not to soothe herself, but to tell you that she sees you clearly for the first time. And in that moment, the color fades, the distance collapses, and the bond you thought you understood reveals itself as something far older, far wilder, and far more connected than you ever imagined. Your cat has been speaking this entire time. You just had to see the language.